Hey, I'm Roland with Mobile Geeks, and this is the new Moto E. So the Moto E is Motorola's new entry-level smartphone that is kind of positioned underneath the Moto G, and what they're trying to do with that is basically score market share in countries like India, Brazil, Mexico, and also Western markets. So the device is marketed towards uh, entry-level users, and it starts out in India for just 7,000 rupees, which is 85, 89, just under around there, somewhere under 90 euros. And it's launching in Europe too for 119 euros, so it's way more expensive in the Western countries. But the device is definitely a decent buy for people that are looking for their first smartphone, and I'll tell you why right now. So we're talking about a 4.3-inch screen right here. That is an IPS panel with a resolution of 960 by 540 pixels, so that's a QHD resolution. It has a Gorilla Glass 3 cover. It's optically bonded, so there's no gap between the display and the cover glass right there. And we have an anti-dirt cover on here, so it shouldn't attract fingerprints so much. We're having a dual-core Snapdragon 200 in here that's running at 1.2 gigahertz and supports HSPA plus up to 21 megabits. We have 1 gig of RAM and 4 gigs of onboard flash storage and also a micro SD card slot. Let's go quickly around the device and I'll tell you about the other specs while doing that. So we don't have a front camera on here, so up here we only have the distance and the light sensor. We have the earpiece right there. That's the 4.inch screen and 4.3-inch screen. Down here we have on-screen Android buttons, so no capacitive touch buttons. And what Motorola has done down here, so this bar, is they have moved the speaker to the front. Definitely is a pretty loud speaker and it gives a decent sound, but nothing special though. We have pretty wide bezels around the screen. There's a bunch of reasons for that, since first, this is a cheap smartphone and it's also supposed to be pretty rugged and survive pretty bad conditions. And it also has a splash resistant coating, so it's not watertight or waterproof or anything, but it's supposed to withstand rain, for example. The device is 12.3 millimeters thick and it weighs in at 142 grams. We have the volume rocker right there, that's the power button. On the back we get a 5 megapixel shooter. The camera is really it's a weakness of this phone because it doesn't have a flash and it doesn't even have an autofocus. So the pictures you can expect from that are definitely not going to be the best. Up top we have the noise cancellation mic and the 3.5 millimeter headset jack. Nothing on the left, and on the bottom you only get a micro USB port. The battery that's in here is actually a 1980 milliampere hour battery, so that should easily last through the day. Let me just open this up and I'll be back in a second because the cover is kind of hard to take off. So you can definitely exchange the cover. There's a bunch of different colors. You can get whatever, red, blue, green, and yellow and all that stuff. And there's also a black version of the phone itself. So I'll be right back when I've taken off the cover. So that's the inside of the Moto E. Up here we have the camera again, and the battery is not exchangeable, so you have it definitely fixed integrated in there. On the side right here we have a micro SD card slot, and this is a micro SIM card slot. There's also a version coming out in a couple of other countries except Europe with dual SIM support, and there's also a version for Brazil, for example, that actually has a digital TV receiver integrated. So that's pretty much it about the Motorola G. I'm just going to quickly show you the software because this is actually running Android 4.4.2 KitKat right now. There you have it. Motorola is actually saying they're giving you an update guarantee, so they're definitely going to upgrade this phone to the next major version of Android. Just another thing about the screen, it's definitely not the brightest. It is an IPS panel, but it tends to screw up the colors as soon as you move the device. It's pretty decently readable from the side, but the colors are definitely going a bit off when you turn the device to the sides. So this has been my quick look at the Moto E for Mobile Geeks. I was Roland. See you later.